Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to my Holly Jolly Christmas series. During the holiday season, I usually make 2 or 3 wreaths, and I haven't done anything so far. So I thought today's the day. I have this Dollarama wreath for $4. It's got the nice wreath form and then all of the pine branches. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time, fluff it out, and see what it looks like. While I'm fluffing, I'd like to let you know that today's video is part of a challenge hosted every month by Sonia at Domestic Diva DIY. If you have not visited Sonia's channel yet, her link will be down in my description box, and I strongly encourage you to go take a look. She does some amazing DIYs. Since this video is part of a challenge, I'll also have a playlist link down in my description box. You won't want to miss out on that. So here's the wreath all fluffed out, and considering it was only $4, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to be adding some more greenery. This is a cedar branch that I picked up, a huge bush of it at Michael's. Of course, I did use my coupon. And you saw me just bend the ends over, so that way I can hook it onto the original wreath form. But I'm also going to use some additional wire to wire it on, and then some hot glue to hold the wire in place. The wire I'm using is some floral wire, and I also grabbed some of the wire in a 5-pack from the Dollar Tree. That wire is really flexible. It's really super easy to use. You can even tie it in a knot. So if you're looking for some really good wire to use, go ahead and check out the Dollar Tree. I'm going to repeat this process for all 7 pieces of the cedar, and I'm going to make sure that I have it all spaced out evenly. This next one is more of a pine branch. It's really looks beautiful. It's a little bit of a different color too, and it also has some pine cones on it. So I'm going to just trim all of the branches apart and then start attaching them the same way. I had some of these little cedar branches left over, so I'm using some hot glue, and I'm going to just stick them in towards the center of the wreath more and on top, so there's a little bit of extra texture. I won't need to wire these little pieces because they're going to stick really well to the original wreath. I don't know what that material is called. It's sort of a plasticky, vinyl-y, I don't know what it is, but anyway, it sticks really good. So the hot glue will hold those in place just fine. Now I'm adding some longer needled pine branches, and this is also going to add a lot more texture to the wreath, make it look really great. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm wiring it to one of the original wreath pieces, and then I'll attach some hot glue. And what I'm making sure I do, because the stem of these are brown, to put it underneath that green stem and you won't see much of the brown. So some of the original pine branches had some pine cones on them, and there were only a few of them, so I wanted to add some extras. I'm taking the pine cones, and at the very bottom I'm just going to wrap some wire all the way around, and then I'm going to twist it a little bit and then use that wire to add the pine cone onto the wreath. I push it down, making sure that the wire is on either side of a really sturdy branch. So whether it's the original wreath form or it's another piece of greenery that has a really thick stem on it, you just want to make sure that whatever you're hanging your pine cone on is going to hold the weight of it. Here I'm using some boxwood greenery, and this isn't something that you would normally find on a wreath, but it is considered an evergreen. I do have some in my garden and they stay green all winter. So I decided that this would be really pretty to add a little bit of different colors, different texture, and just make it stand out a little bit more. You could also use eucalyptus. I think that would be a really pretty branch to use. And I've also seen lamb's ear or like a dusty kind of light green material being used, and that's beautiful as well. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm using my needle nose pliers just to make a little hook on the end of the branch, hook it onto the original wreath, and then wire it down and use hot glue to seal the wire. Now it's time to add some color. I have this berry garland from Dollarama. I'm going to cut the pieces apart. I don't need the holly leaves, so I will be taking those out. They look a little too artificial for me, but I'm going to leave a long stem of wire because that's going to help me to wire and glue the berries right into the wreath. The original cedar branches that I used first actually had some smaller berries, so I'm going to reattach those to where they were supposed to be, and that's going to add some extra colors and extra texture too. I'm also going to be adding these larger berries. Now, they were part of Michael's fall collection, and I got them for 60% off. They're going to add, again, some more interest, some more texture. They're larger than the red berries, so I think it's just going to make everything look so high end. I'm really loving the way this wreath is turning out. I'm just using some hot glue for some of these stems, but some of them are going to be wired as well. So for those of you who have been watching my videos, you'll know that I am not a bow person, but this wreath deserves a bow. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I really think that it needs to have something just to finish it off. So because my theme is black and white buffalo check, I've got this ribbon from Michaels, and I'm going to attempt to make a bow. Now, I haven't done this for a really long time, but the way I make bows is I use wire to hold it all together. So I've got my two tails here, and that's just a piece of length, probably maybe, 2 feet or so, just so I have something for the tails. I'm going to use this little flexible wire from the Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. I only bought one pack and I've got to go back and get some more. So I'm just going to start winding it around a few times, and then I'll move on to my next piece. Now I'm just cutting lengths off. I'm not measuring. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And what I do with my ribbon is I just fold it in half. And I want the cut pieces to be on the same side, and I overlap them to make sure that they're going to get caught in the wire. I pinch it together, and then I'm going to take it over to the tail and just wind that wire all the way around. I'll repeat this bow process 2 more times. I want to have 3 pieces all together, which will actually make me 6 loops. So 6 loops is good. Sometimes they say you're supposed to have odd numbers, but I'm okay with the 6. And as you can see, it's starting to turn out pretty nice. So I'm just going to keep working with the wire and putting it together. And then at the end, I'm going to fluff it all out. If you're not that great at making bows, then you might want to make sure that any ribbon that you use is wired. That gives you an advantage because you can easily just fluff it out and it's going to stay in place. So what I'm doing now is just kind of pushing the pieces together to hide the wire in the center and just fluffing it, making it nice and fat and filling it up. So you don't need to have tons of loops to make a beautiful bow. You just need to know how to fix it and fluff them up. The last thing I'm going to do to the bow is dovetail the ends. And what that means is making a deep V into them. And what I like to do is start in the center and work my way out so I get a really nice point. I'll do that on both sides. I really love how this bow turned out. It was the perfect size for the wreath, but it just didn't fit. So I ended up making a new bow out of burlap and black buffalo check ribbon, and this one turned out so much better. It looks fantastic on the wreath. I'd like to thank Sonia for hosting this monthly challenge. It's always a lot of fun. If you like what I did today, I'd love for you to stick around a while. Hit that subscribe button. Those two black arrows will show you exactly where to click. Thank you so much for your support and for watching right to the end. See you in the next one.